everyone, it is Crystal with Pineapple Papers, and I am back with a process video with my July How to Kill a Kit with Style video. In addition to my kit, one of the ladies in the Facebook group had asked us to pull 15 items from our stash and just put it in a basket to use it during this month. So one of those items that I pulled was this punch. It's just a square punch. I think it's maybe 2 inches. And so I just went through the 6x6 papers and pulled out a couple of those and just punched out some of those squares. And I am using this awesome sketch from Page Maps, and it's like nothing I've done before. It does kind of remind me of maybe a modified grid a little bit, which I love a grid layout. So I had originally only cut 6 squares, and once I put my pictures down and kind of decided where they were going to go, it really looked like I needed 8. So I just grabbed 2 more pieces of paper and punched 2 more squares. So in putting the squares on, I just basically didn't want 2 of them that were close to the same. And to kind of go a little bit on the quicker side, I just flipped them all over at once, added the adhesive, and I'm just going to line them up. Now, I do have a T-square ruler, but it fell behind my desk, so I was too lazy and just decided to try and eyeball it a little bit, which works out okay. I do tend to pick it up and move it around a little bit more than I would if I had my T-square ruler. So I will have to get behind my desk and get that. So once I get that on, now I'm going to cut down the background piece of paper to kind of provide just a small mat around. And here's where I can kind of tell that my squares are off a little bit, and I try to just adjust them just the smallest a bit, not really caring a ton. So this is the background paper I'm going to use. It's fairly neutral, and I did not decide to pop it up because I figured that was kind of big. But I have these 2 border strips left on this piece of paper, and I decided to use both of them as kind of that little accent piece. And I just kind of offset them a little bit because I felt like that pinkish corally one was really in your face, but just that little bit behind helped, and decided to fluff it up a little bit. I have a few of these fun little arrows, and I thought it went well with the arrow paper in one of the little squares. So I'm going to add that to 2 spots, and the altering is going to be different. So one is gold and then blue and then gold, and one's blue and then gold and then blue. So I do have some of these tiny word stickers that I'm going to add. So basically I'm just going to kind of embellish the squares a little bit, and then have a cluster in the top left-hand corner. I'm trialing out a couple of these wood veneer phrases, and I am going to go with Discover. So I'm really liking the arrows, but I felt like the arrow on the arrow paper was a little much. So I do have a little bit of a cluster up there in the left upper hand corner. So I figured, well, that doesn't have an arrow yet. So when in doubt, add an arrow, I guess, is my theory for this funny little layout. So that, I guess it's kind of a flower. We'll call it a flower. So that metal flower, I just had one of them from the collection and it fit perfectly in that 12 by 12 square. So that package is complete. And then I had this wood frame, and I thought that was kind of a fun little piece. And I'm going to stick it under, and this is where maybe I should have popped up that piece a little bit, but I don't think it looks too bad. I could have cut the frame, but I chose not to do that either. But I like this map, and so this is the one time that it's going to semi be correct. So it's kind of a world map. So I just tried to cut out kind of that part of Northern America, at least it's Northern America. And that way you can't see the background paper. And I like how that looks. I think that was definitely a much needed thing. I didn't feel like it did very well just being an open frame. So I am going through and trying to decide if I want to add any other phrases to go with my title, and I decide on this awesome. So my title for this is going to be Discover Awesome, which these were the first falls that we came across. These are Big Navajo Falls, I believe, and they're beautiful. They have pools and they're really cool. We didn't actually go up and swim in any of them because they're before the campgrounds and that type of thing. So I think when we go back, we'll visit these ones a little bit more because we didn't do that. So I am trying to decide if there's anything else. And I do decide on some of these Brads and some of these Teresa Collins die cuts, just to kind of sprinkle a few more items around the page, a little more black, a little more blue. I do have to pop up that camera because it is going on top of the frame. But that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this layout, and I hope you are using your stash. So here comes some close-ups, and remember to wear your crown. Bye!